Filling time. Yes.
I would actually argue that this whole week of baseball has been just filling time.
Yeah, so I would argue that for a little inside baseball here, appropriate term for the show. The idea of filling time, the reason to do it is, to give people a little time to roll in and tune in for the show, so we don't start and people are like, oh, I didn't know or whatever. So you give them a minute or whatever. I feel like it is useless today because why would anyone tune in to watch us talk about this team? I'm assuming there'll be no one in this chat, no one watching this because, why? It's torture. It's torture watching them. It's great.
Well, because we all got to go through it together.
Yeah, right.
We all got to go through it together.
Well said. Well, there are people here, and it's a joke. Team sucks. Pathetic. I have no retort. Fire Kevin Long. Sure. Okay. I'm in. All right.
Whatever.
Because Emily had to sit through Emily had to sit through that baseball game with me. I'm sure she would like me to, co-parent for the evening.
Well, I want to enjoy my Sunday.
Yes.
Given that they already ruined my Sunday.
I feel you. All right. Let's roll. Yo, it is another edition of the IOPS podcast sponsored by Miller Lite, official partner of the Philadelphia Phillies. Tastes like Miller time. Philadelphia, celebrate responsibly. I don't know if there are enough Miller Lights in Philadelphia to get through that abomination of a series. The Phillies score 2 runs in their last 23 innings. 1 run, each of the last 2 days. The run yesterday was a short run in the first freaking inning. Look, we talked about the Friday thing and bullpen game, and it might be hard to win. What a freaking embarrassment against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are now, after winning today, 26-40, because that means they came into this series 23-40. I don't care that Bryce Harper's out. I don't care that you had a bullpen game, which, by the way, you only gave up 5 runs overall, including the winning run. Those at bats on Friday night in those situations, those at bats yesterday at the end of the game, other than the pitching, honestly, I don't have too much to say about the pitching. That they Sanchez did what he had to do. Ranger did what he had to. The bullpen for the most part did what they had to. Obviously gave it up late to lose games, but it happens when you don't score any freaking runs, when there's no life to a freaking baseball team. When after that embarrassment in Toronto and poor Jesus Luzardo's arbitration numbers dropped $10 million over the last 2 weeks. The beating they've taken, and then they go into Pittsburgh, which should be a familiar place to be. You're on the road. You play good baseball on the road, and you get that embarrassment, lifeless series. What a joke, man. What a freaking joke. And by the way, I think they're 0-8 without Harper now. 0-8. They are.
They won the first
embarrassment.
They won the first Braves game without him, so they definitely have at least 1 win with him.
Okay,
without him.
What an embarrassment, man! What an embarrassment! I'm embarrassed today.
Yeah, I'm pretty depressed. I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate your anger. I appreciate your fire. I just kind of look at them right now like a dead team walking. I do, and I'm not offensively. I'm not even sure they're better than the Pirates. They should be better than the Pirates, but without this lineup, when Harper's not in it, it is brutal.
I mean, it's Schwarber and Trey and Castellanos is a average, and then everyone else stinks. It's not just bad. You use the phrase, and I can't get it out of my head. Use the last pod. There's zeros off it. They have a bunch of freaking zeros.
Well, and they're batting a guy leadoff who's hitting 240. I mean, that's
way less than that over the last month plus or whatever it's been. Yeah.
Was there ever a bigger lock for a double play than the 9th inning today?
Oh, boom. I said it definitely. I'm because I was talking about when I should go downstairs to come record this podcast, in my basement as opposed to upstairs. I was watching with Emily. And first and second, I'm they're pinch running for Schwarber. And my first thought is, oh, well, that's dumb. I get it. But, this could go to extras. You want to get rid of Schwarber? Do I like this? And then I saw Bohm up and I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's going to be
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing for me to reconcile is so not only is the bullpen pretty terrible, It's the Alan Wrangle special on Friday night, although he ended up doing okay in the middle there. Romano.
No.
You did? Hold on. Little Josh Colmenser.
Oh my God, dude. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
but you know, the bullpen is certainly, I mean, since Alvarado's gone out, I think they're like 28th in baseball.
Well, and also, Jack, even when they have the stretches of being okay, like we know the talent level and the playoffs is so different for bullpen guys. It's so far from okay.
Yeah. But the most concerning part for me is the offense, and it's going to continue to be the offense because, again, like you said, there's just zeros. The third baseman's a zero. The second baseman might be a zero. The left fielder's a zero. Center field, zero. I mean, up at the catcher mostly zero. The right fielder, I would say, is a half, if on a 0 or 1 scale.
Yeah, I think it's like on the VORP, you know, the value of a replacement player. He's like the replacement, like the line, you know.
And they just look like they have no energy. And the Kemp call up didn't add any juice. I think we probably got a little ahead of ourselves with thinking that he's going to save and pick up the offense. That was always a tall task. And they just
unfair to him. Like that kid shouldn't have that on him. Well, we're all like, well, I know Bryce got hurt, but thank God for Otto Kemp.
Oh, there he is.
Like that's not like he's not Aiden Miller. He's not like a top 10 prospect in the sport. He's not a top 100 prospect. You know, it's like it's just not fair to the kid. You know.
And they just got swept out by the Pirates, dude. I mean, they just got swept out, and I know they never play well at PNC Park. It feels like they go out there and
I know
horrible things happen, but to get swept out by the Pirates and it wasn't even. The Pirates didn't look that much worse than the Phillies. That was the most concerning
they barely
part
lost. They lost by 3 runs. 3 games, 3 runs. They I mean, for the run differential crowd, you can't do better in losing 3 games, you know?
Sure. Now, the one thing is there is some definite unlucky things happening to them all at the same time, which is annoying. I mean, the ball off McCutchen's bat was like 64 miles an hour and just fell in there. I thought it was I understand they wanted to go lefty to start the inning. I thought Sanchez was done. I think Sanchez mentally thought he was done, and that was obvious when he went out and walked him on 4 pitches.
I thought that was. I agree with you.
I thought that was a mistake. We'll just let Kirkering start the inning, but regardless, you had the Davis home run yesterday. This really does, James. This feels so much like 11, and I know people romanticize that year because we remember the 4 aces, and really it was the 3 aces and Vance Worley.
And the final record, the 102, it's 6 out, the most they've won and all that, you know, right? 102, yeah.
Yeah, 102. Well, but there was also, like, this is that offense. I mean, 27, there was a stretch in the middle of that season where I think, like, it was either 37 of 44 games they scored 3 runs or less, or 27 out of 44 games.
And they were horrible going into the playoffs. They won. We all remember winning that last series against the Cardinals, or not to get the Cardinals in, not against Cardinals, but to get the Cardinals in, and then they had to play them. We were like, should they have won that? And it's like, oh, they needed to get on tracks. They were playing poorly.
Well, they'd lost 10 straight before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they lost 10 straight. So the similarities between this team and 11 really are showing more and more. A random ass bullpen with like, you know, it was Stutzy.
I wish we had a Madsen though. I mean, there's no one like close to what like that's the thing too, is it's like, because the bullpen is obviously just so deficient, and the deeper you get down, like we always talked about, like, you know, last year and the year before, how it's like great to have those high end guys, but you know, we liked guys who are guys 4 and 5 and 6, like to varying degrees. I mean, here 1, 2, and 3 are nowhere close to a guy like Madsen was, or what Hoffman was, or Strom was for you last year, or whatever. Like Strom, Kirkering, and Romano have not been anything close to that this year. And it gets exponentially worse once you get past them. I mean, none of these guys, do you trust if any of these guys to get a big out? Like Joe Ross has been fine, like a nice signing for he's been like, they're guys who are like, oh, you know, Tanner Banks has actually been better than you'd expect this year and all that. But like, do you really, if it's like, all right, season on the line, got to get an out, like, do you trust a single one of those guys to come in and get it?
So Kirkering is slowly developing some trust for me, but I understand your point. And
I was really talking about the ones, not 3, the other guys, no chance. But even then, like, yes, you could maybe see yourself giving the top 3 the ball, but it's not like you trust them. It's not like you're sure of it.
Well, and Romano's taking a bit of a step back here. He had that good stretch, and then the mound issue in Oakland, Sacramento. But after that, he's been more shaky than good.
I don't know if you could cite the mound issue anymore. Yeah.
Well, again, he got blown up.
It threw him off.
Yeah, we're always going to talk about the mound in Sacramento. It's the time that ruined the season. But there has been some unluckiness to this. Now, you shouldn't need too much luck to beat the Pirates, but whatever, we're desperate. So you had the ball today. You had the Davis home run last night. You had the freaking bleeder up the line against Romano on Friday night, which was ridiculous.
The bunt are you talking about?
Yes, yeah. The one, yeah. And then you had the second game game 2 in Toronto. That's a coin flip game. They're finding ways to lose games, and that's the annoying part about a team that is supposedly their strength is being together. Their strength is the camaraderie. They're not even close to getting it done. But my bigger worry is that they just look deficient. Like it's not just they look deficient in the lineup and they look deficient in the bullpen. Starters, they're great. I mean, the starters are Suarez and Sanchez. You couldn't have asked more from them this weekend. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if Wheeler was back from paternity, they probably win one of these games. Dude, it's the Pirates. It's the freaking Pirates. What are we talking about?
He's having a kid. Like Zach Wheeler has been there when we've needed him in every big spot so far. Like he can miss a game in Pittsburgh and hope that his guys can lift him up for his kid's birth. Okay.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry.
And also,
like, I will not take that. Like, we're not doing that.
I would also rather have him pitch against the Cubs anyway. I mean,
sure, of course.
You should not go out. You should not go out and get swept against the freaking Pirates. You should not do that. You should not do that. It's embarrassing. And this is worse than after the Mets, right? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, look, they've lost 9 of 10 too. We're just talking about getting swept by the Pirates, which is bad. They've lost 9 of 10, man. And they, like, to your point, when it's been because the bats have been so incredibly cold, especially, I mean, look at the one game they won. So Jack, they've lost 9 of 10. The one game they won it because of a 6-run inning. And that's it.
And
that's why
shut
they won.
It down after that.
Like they have had just zero consistency over the last 10 games from the bats, and they've lost 9 of them. And when you have such a bad bullpen, it doesn't matter how good your starting pitching is if you don't hit and you have a bad bullpen. Like, it doesn't matter. You can have the best starting pitching on the planet, and it won't matter if you don't score runs and if they can't hold those leads or leads that maybe you can get if you ever score runs with the bullpen. So they are a really flawed team right now. And the Harper thing is scary too, because you don't like seeing it. It's just such a sign of how light they are and how not deep offensively they are, that Harper goes out and it's this just boom, we are just a disaster. And then on top of that, the fact that, Harper, where he's saying stuff like, yeah, I hope rest will make it better. It's like, well, what the hell does that mean, dude? Like, what else are we, does that mean you might have to have surgery? Does that mean there might have to, like, it's just, to your point, Jack, when you think about it overall, and then you think about like even the things that were bright spots, Luzardo like was so much fun, and now that, and and even then with how good the pitching's been, excluding today, heading into today, their team ERA is middle of the pack because of the bullpen and the whole thing. I mean, they have a team ERA over 4, Jack. Their team ERA is over 4. I mean, we're talking about pitching; they're going to be the greatest pitching team. Their team ERA is over 4, like. And they can't hit. Oh, by the way, they're a pretty subpar defensive team for the most part. And most of their important players are in their mid-30s or approaching their mid-30s.
Yep.
So it's to your point, it does feel, and look, they can turn this around, and Harper can come back and they can go on a run. And we know all that, but it feels like a real low point right now.
Well, the biggest thing I'm struggling with is, listen, we're all smart enough to realize that 9 out of 10 stretches are probably going to happen. I mean, the teams that we've seen win World Series here have had stretches like this. The 2008 team, they had a power outage in the middle of the summer. Every single year, you have
the Rangers. The Rangers, when they won a couple years ago, they lost 10 straight in August. 10 straight.
So. I understand all of that. Like if we can walk into this and say, disclaimer, we know that the season's not over, but like I struggle watching them and think, like, the one thought that keeps hitting me square between the eyes is, are we watching the window close in front of our eyes with this core, or are they just going through a rut? And that's the biggest predicament I find myself in. With, like, are they just old and are they playing out the string here? And I don't really want to invest in them in the trade deadline. I don't want to trade some of the top 5 prospects to go and make this team and try to put lipstick on a pig or whatever. Or do they need the wind at the sails? And do they need, like, are they just a veteran team that's going through a slump here and they'll find their way through it? If I had to bet, I still think it's closer to this is who they are. They're going to win another game the rest of the year. We understand that. But they just look old. I mean, JT looks old. Stott might just be what he is. Marsh is what he is. Kepler's not. He's batting 140 something since May 1st. It's horrible. So that's the dilemma. The dilemma I find myself in watching them on a night in, night out basis right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's the dilemma, and I think it's the most interesting, like, of these that I remember as a Phillies fan, in terms of should they go in on a team all in it all, or should they prioritize the future? Because it's rare that in my lifetime the Phillies have had as many good high-end prospects as they actually have right now. I mean, we've talked about this. They have 4 top 40-ish guys, and Taid, who wasn't even up there, probably should be. Like, you'd have potentially 5 top 50 guys at, early, by the end of the year or whatever it is. And then on top of that, the Mick Abels and the, these other, the Otto Kemps and whoever else, type of players. Like, we haven't had that before. So to have that surplus is a unique thing. And also to have this team that, we want to say is in the middle of a run, especially considering some of the contracts, between the Nola, Turner, and Harper contracts at least. And, that in the middle of this type of thing, you would hope. But we know that when you look at a lot of other stuff around, they're going to need these prospects to bridge these gaps and to be able to afford these longer contracts with cheaper guys and all that stuff. The question is, how do they balance it all? And how much do they invest in this group that it does feel like one way or another, whether, Dombrowski tries to actually put lipstick on a pig, whether he is able to, make over that pig and actually make moves that matter, or whether he, put some clear lipstick on a bag and like tries to trick people and think that he is when he's really not making. Like, I could see any of these type of things come out, but it does feel, regardless, that this now moment, both the decision from the team and how the team plays leading up to the deadline and what they do at it is like last chance. Like, it really does feel like, for this group, it feels like this is it, put up or shut up time. Because to your point, Jack, it's starting to feel like we know who almost all these guys are. And unfortunately, the vast majority of them aren't good enough.
Well, and the Nightingale thing today about how they're going to be aggressive at the trade deadline.
It was my first thought was, should they, Jack? To the conversation was happening. My first thought was, should they?
Yeah, and it's what I said on Friday. If you listen to the afternoon show, we basically did this, and I said, like, I'm not trading one of the 5 prospects for like a rental piece, or like, now if it's a super difference maker,
yeah.
Like,
if it was like Soto as a rental when he was traded last year or whatever it was, it's like, okay, like,
it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
And the market might be super weak, but like I expect more of like a Hayes Estevez kind of trade deadline. And you have to get that right. Like, you have to get the players right. Last year they didn't get the players right. But
yeah, like if they had traded for Chisholm instead, it would have looked a lot different. That type of the production he gave the Yankees. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like make smarter bets. And Abel's pitching his way into, like, are we sure we want to trade this guy? Mm-hmm. So it's a tough spot to be in, just saying, hey, let this group kind of play out a string here. But you also have to think about the health and the future of your organization. And again, they have a month and a half to change our minds. They can, but I would be very surprised if heading into July 31st, I'm saying, you know what? Might have to put Aiden on the table, or you might have to put one of these guys on the table. You got to go for it because, people will say this core. You got to give him a shot. You got to give him a shot. And you could say last year's probably the time to give him a shot, or, but you also can't make bad bets and put the future of your franchise at risk, and having those guys come around that can help bridge the gap, I think just matters more. So it stinks. The Harper injury is going to really dictate a lot of things. It's going to dictate a lot of things. And I know in years past, they've played okay with Bryce not in there. It doesn't look that way now. I mean, it gets dark quick with Bryce out of the lineup. That lineup is brutal when he's not in there. And I am, for the first time in my life watching Bryce, like, I am legitimately getting concerned about what his future looks like. And are we watching an Embiid-ish type player here now, which stinks. I love Bryce. I think Bryce is my favorite player. But this is another little injury that seemingly is not going away. And they said maybe getting hit in the elbow is why his wrist is inflamed. Like, what are we? Some of the way that they've explained injuries this year.
The elbow's connected to the wrist bone. Is not one of those things.
Maybe I'm out of my depth here, but that feels like a stretch. I'm really fearful for Bryce. I really am. And I don't want to watch a compromised Bryce Harper with 6 years left on his contract. That sounds excruciating. But unfortunately, man, it's just another injury. It's just another injury that is zapping his power. People keep showing that home run in Game 5 against the Diamondbacks and how violent that swing was. Like, where's that? Can he even do that anymore? It's of all the things that happened this weekend, getting swept by the Pirates, the Bryce thing, I haven't been able to shake it for 2 days.
Yeah, and the end of what you just said, like, I think it's the single most important determining factor on what they're going to end up doing, both as a team and also as an organization to help that team. Because I think if Bryce, does need surgery or does elect to have surgery or whatever I don't know what the situation is, the way he talked about it, it's like, we'll see what happens. If he's out for an extended period of time, I certainly don't want them making big trades of like even Mick Abel. I would probably lean towards keeping Mick Abel over trading him, so if Bryce is back, it's a different discussion. And, but on the whole, I generally really agree with the idea of I'm not trading any of the top tier guys, unless, to your point, I'm getting a young-ish difference maker for more than a half a season. If we're talking about someone who can be here for,
and by the
whatever.
way, that's not Mason Miller.
So unlikely, yeah. It's not Mason Miller. No.
Yeah, we're just knocking off. He's a freaking closer.
Yeah. And also, he's get 5 years of control, 4 years of control. Like, it's just like, it's not worth what they're gonna have to give up for him. All that type of stuff. Regardless, I think that to your point, Jack, I just don't think they're good enough right now for Dombrowski and the organization. And look, to reinvest in a big way. If Harper can't come back, and if they can't right the ship before the deadline, and look, one of the hardest jobs and most important jobs that general managers, a president of baseball ops, owners, the whole thing that they have to be able to make is to say, listen, I know that I have spent a lot of money on this or that, or I've invested in this belief of this group or whatever, but you know what? It's a sunk cost and it didn't work. And I have to be able to move on and say what's best for the future of the organization. I'm not saying we're there yet, but that's what these guys have to determine. That's the job, and it's hard to do, but this might be a case where, they're just not good enough, and it's absolutely not worth. And it's the consider. And look, the Harper thing brings in a whole other like layers of questions in terms of, we were talking about, like, should he move back to right field or this or that? Like, maybe he moves to DH and Schwarber has to go because of that or whatever. Like, you know what I mean, though? Like, I'm throwing stuff out there that if it is an issue with Harper where it's like, all right, well, maybe the only way to get the best 6 years of the last 6 years of the deal is to put him in bubble wrap and just have him hit. I mean, Bedlam at the Bank, that thing, that it was the H in that whole thing. Like, so, it's just, to your point. And again, we could be talking in 2 weeks and be like, oh, look, they're back and Harper's good again and whatever. But right now it does. I feel like if you're like betting on futures, probabilities, whatever you want to say, I feel like right now betting on the Phillies to turn it around and Harper to come back healthy and to be good and this year to end up being super successful is probably like a underdog. It's probably plus money at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah,
I really don't.
no,
I don't know what else to say. I'm pretty down. I think they're gonna right the ship enough. I think it's been an annoying week. I think they're on. If they look and feel like an 87 to 90-ish team to me, but like unless something drastic changes here, I don't know what this deadline's going to look like, and you might as well just see what these guys got, and if they can help you. Paying Max Kepler $11 million to do nothing. I mean, he's doing absolutely
nothing.
Great defensive left fielder, amazing. I don't care. I really don't care. And they just look like they're miserable going to the ballpark. They just don't have that same level of happiness. And it's funny because we said that early in the year, right? Where it's like, oh, they're too businesslike. And then they got hot, and it's like, well, I appreciate the businesslike. And now they're cold again. It's like, there they go, to too businesslike. So, I mean, it could change multiple times. But, man, with the Harper stuff, getting swept out by the Pirates, watching this bullpen, watching this lineup, and feeling dead inside, I don't know, like, I don't know where to go from here. It's not 2012, when they just literally ran out the string. I don't think it's that. I think they're better than that. And maybe this rotation can just go into freaking ultra turbo mode and get them close enough. And you get this rotation in a playoff series, and man, who knows what could happen. But it feels like they need like 3 moves. And I don't know how you get that done without, investing real prospects into it.
Yeah, no, I think to the point of I don't know what else to say, and I'm with you. Like, I don't think there is much else to say right now because it is like the bottom. Like, this is the bottom of the season right now. And I know, which is funny because they're 37 and 28 right now or something like that, I think, which is like, many teams would kill. The Pirates would kill to be 37 and 28, so I get it. But I think like anything else we say right now will be like overreaction. And I do think that, we'll see. But I'm with you. I just don't think they're talented enough. And that's really what the issue all off season. I didn't think they did enough. You didn't think they did enough. And I think we're just seeing kind of all play out along with some aging. And, it's just a question of, what we're seeing right now. How real is it? So quickly before we get out of here, 2 things. One thing I'm hoping will put a smile on your face because I'm going to do it won't, let's be honest. But quickly, one thing that I know will put a smile on your face because you love Pizza Como in Pittsburgh. Today's Miller Lite bar of the week is Pizza Como in Pittsburgh, where you can watch all the Phillies games with $3 Miller Lite pint specials. Go to pizzacomopcpub.com. So I knew that would make you happy, but also I actually have a question about a minor leaguer for you.
Great.
Right? From our buddy Mike, great listener to the pod. Love Mike. He's our guy. Mike asks, does Keaton Anthony, who we saw when we were in Reading, does he have any real value / potential?
Yeah, so he really does. I want to see how he does in AAA because he is 23, and not to act like 23 is he's on his deathbed, but he's 23 raking in AA. So funny. I mean, he was also undrafted. Him and Kemp both undrafted.
It's you don't see that a lot. Like, it's pretty rare, man. I mean, even like. It's just rare. I mean, Piazza, the big, like, and they had more rounds. It was like a 61st round pick back in the day, and you always heard that with them, but it's just rare.
Yeah. So both those guys undrafted and both, raking. I really like Keaton Anthony. He reminds me of obviously Reese. Reese had more power. He's really slow. just like slow footed. But I want to see how he does at AAA. But I mean, listen, if Bryce has to miss time, he might force their hand. Probably won't because he's not in AAA yet. I appreciate a Keaton Anthony question. It's the Phillies.
I got your back. Tried to do the best I could. Thank you, Mike. I know.
Thank you.
I know. Too bad it's not Roman Anthony. You see the 497-foot home run. Woo!
Yeah.
I know.
At least Aiden hit a home run in
Aiden's
Harrisburg.
Aiden flashing some leather. Let's go.
He's 0 for 3 today, but that's all right.
Yeah. Look, to the point you just made, what Jack's like to show the example. I mean, Keaton Anthony is 23 in AA. Aiden is turning tomorrow, actually. Happy birthday, Aiden, June 9th. Happy birthday tomorrow to Aiden Miller. But yeah, so he's turning 21 tomorrow, just to show like that matters. A 21-year-old and a 23-year-old physically are very different things. So,
one of the youngest guys in the Eastern League.
Yeah, which matters.
Yep.
All right. Must win 2 or 3 series, must show some gumption, must the Cubs are coming to town, and that's a big series, and the Cubs have been playing good baseball. They have a better record. I think they're at 40 wins or something like that. So they really need to show up, Jack. This is a big one.
Well, I mean, but at the same time,
I know I'm not saying I expect it. I'm just saying they need to. Yeah, they need to.
Without Bryce, it's just they just look so weak. I mean, they just look so weak without Bryce in there. It's as simple as that. So at least Wheeler's on the mound. At least
I was
Wheeler's
about to say Wheels
mound.
tomorrow. And look, Wednesday with Lazard will be fascinating. We'll be there. We're doing our morning show game with listeners that day. So we'll be down there.
Nice.
So be fun. Thursday,
Could be.
I'm sure we'll be back with the pod, obviously, unless if they get swept. I don't know if Jack might actually take a pod off. Probably not.
No, listen.
You never will. You never will. Honestly, they could be alert. They're going to drop the nuclear bomb on all of USA. Everyone's dying in 20 minutes. Jack be like, all right, get on. We got to record. Let's get this done.
Tucker, can you get the pot up? it's slowly approaching Earth. Doesn't sound so bad right now, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know.
Which is worse, getting hit by a nuclear bomb or getting swept by the Pirates?
Yeah. Having Alec Boehm with 2 on and 1 out in the 9th inning, that's the truth.
I know he sometimes does good things.
No, he's such a
I cannot take Alec Boehm. I to do the Seltzer, get him off my team.
Get him off my team. Why is he even
here? I know he does some things well, but get him off my team. I am begging you. He is of all the excruciating watches on this team, the first pitch double play that you can just smell. Just smell it from a mile away. I do not want to watch him play baseball for the Phillies anymore. If they accomplish one thing at the trade deadline and it's trading Alec Boehm and just put Kemp there every day, whatever. Otto Kemp clearly will struggle against off-speed pitches. He had a 35% chase rate on that in the minors, but I'm so done with it. I'm so done with the
we were after last season, and then we had to talk ourselves into him being back because they couldn't trade him. All right.
Yeah. Do you want a positive to start the take back?
No, I didn't even think there was a take back. What do you got?
Bullpen's in decent shape heading into this week.
God, no. We're not doing this today. No. What else? What else you got?
Has one hitter gotten better under Kevin Long? No.
Honestly, everyone's gotten, and they even all gotten worse this season. Even the guys who started good, Rojas stinks again. Sosa's coming back to earth. All of them, they all no. But honestly, we've talked about firing Kevin Long a bunch of times and whether we're doing anything this and why not? What possible reason do you have for I can't? I got nothing.
They had a decent stretch there, but he does so little for me. He is not. They need to find the Cotham of hitting coaches. That's totally. That's the most important thing they can do, because with him at the helm, they seem behind the times. Also, they just got to pull the plug on the solid leadoff thing. You need a spark at the top. Again, overall numbers, he's down to 240. He was hitting 290, I felt like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
It's just, you cannot have that at the top of your lineup. And it's not even Schwarber 240. Schwarber, when he's hitting 190.
Oh, totally. But he's got a 500 plus slugging percentage, or yeah.
It's just not. It's nothing. It's like at this point, it's almost like having a pitcher.
Yeah,
it's almost like having a pitcher batting first to start off a game. You can't do it. You can't do it. It kills me because I really like Bryce Harper and like I want him to be good, and I love the defense. But oh my goodness, he's hitting 240. If you look at his baseball savant page,
I'm scared too.
It's all blue.
I'm sure.
It
feels like he hasn't hit a ball hard in a month. And look, even just like with the Bohm and Castellanos thing we talked about and stuff, like even if getting him out of the top of the lineup like gets his head right is a possibility. Like I wouldn't count on it, but I'm saying like anything you gotta do, like you just can't leave him up there. I mean, it was one thing when they were scoring runs. Like they've been a disaster for 2 weeks now. Like done.
Well, and he's in that mode again where it looks like he's swinging a pool noodle. Like
I know. There's no drive to anything. The ball dies every time it gets in. Yep, 100%.
I can't tell if these guys are really hurt. Well, here's my hope. I wonder if they're getting cute with the injured list like they did in 22. Like remember when they put Wheeler on it in the middle of the season?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
If you want to look a glass half full at the current injury situation, maybe the Bryce thing is a load management thing. Maybe the Nola thing is a load management thing. Maybe they put Luzardo on there when Nola's back as a load management thing. That's my optimistic sense. I hope Harper's fine. I am dreading waking up every single day and wondering if I'm going to get a notification that he's done for the season or getting surgery. My optimistic sense is that they're not panicking. They're 37-28, and let's just kind of manage this season and make sure these guys are healthy and ready to go in September. Do you like that theory or no? Don't like the theory.
I mean, look, I love it. It's a great.
On to the next one.
It's a great way to bend your mind in a way to try and make the evidence fit a theory that doesn't suck. But
thank you.
I doubt that. I mean, nice job.
Thank you.
Struggle to stick with you there, though. Yes.
Great. And then in a truly positive note to close out this podcast, they claim Ryan Cusick off waivers.
Oh, buddy.
You want to talk about if you squint, you see Tyler Glass now?
Oh, God.
He was a former Wake Forest kid, first round pick. He was drafted by the Braves.
I do like a former first round pick. I like a little shot on pedigree.
Only a couple years ago. I was surprised he was already like DFA worthy, which is because it feels
Jeff
like
Hoffman was that. Yeah.
That's a good comp.
Yeah.
We like that. Fastball's horrible, even though it throws at 97, 98. So you got to add some different spin to it.
Yeah, sure.
Every other pitch looks all right. He has no idea where the baseball's going. But regardless, an interesting one to monitor on the possible Hoffman watch. And this guy definitely is not good. 100% not good. But he's DFA'd and I need him. Forrest Whitley was DFA'd, baby.
Oh, I would take a shot on Forrest Whitley. I mean, even I know the name Forrest Whitley. Let's go.
Come on, man. Time.
I think he was number one overall in all baseball. I know he's number one pitching prospect, but I think he might have been like the number one prospect in baseball at some point. Certainly was number one pitching prospect.
Prospect. I don't know
if he ever got to number one, but he was definitely number one pitching.
The Astros having the run they've had with like Brady Aiken being horrible and they drafted him twice.
No, you're right. And they also with what's his name? The guy who was here.
Mark Capel.
Yeah, him too. Yeah.
And now Forrest Whitley. So
crazy.
I think we need Forrest Whitley in the bullpen too. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying there's some interesting options out there. Dude, Lucas Sims throwing all right for the old Iron Pigs. Yeah, we might have the makings of a little bullpen here. Alan Rangel, mostly interesting on Friday.
It couldn't be worse, pal. It couldn't be worse. Honestly, just sub the Iron Pigs for the major league roster.
Dude,
see what happens.
I have an official statement on the Iron Pigs. I'm glad you brought them up.
Oh, great. Thank you. anything to extend.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The depletion of the Iron Pigs roster over the last couple of days, with them coming up to the big leagues, really does hurt. I mean,
I know
they got torched. They got torched by the Fighting Nick Matons in the Charlotte team this weekend. So it's been a tough week for the Pigs. But by the way, speaking of dumb things, why is the White Sox team in Charlotte, their AAA team, shouldn't it be close so your fans can go visit them?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
Really crushing this stuff.
What else can I bring up in the next minute to extend this to see Seltzer's brain?
It's nice that you are fine just leaving your children with your wife. You have no problem. Like, you're not trying to hustle get back to her. I, on the other hand, care about my child, care about my wife. I'm trying to, help out, but it's fine. I get it. Let's just hang and, keep going. What you got?
Well, I think she's on a walk.
See how I spun that around on you? That was so good. I'm so proud of myself. You're not the only one who can spin stuff around, buddy.
Also, why yesterday did you do the top 10 athletes in Philadelphia when tomorrow's the start of top 11 week?
I didn't realize it was. I thought you guys did it yesterday.
A bad guy.
I know. I honestly didn't even think about it. I thought you did it on Friday because you guys were texting about it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
No, it's all good. All right. Go have a nice rest.
I would never do that to you, buddy.
Yeah, don't steal our content.
I would never. All right. I love you, pal. This was great.
All right.
Except for the Phillies part, which was horrible.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back after the Cubs series. Yeah. We'll see if we're any happy.